know what you think. You believe that with age, female desire becomes an elusive myth, accessible only through abundant wealth or a physique you no longer possess. But I tell you, this is the most convenient of illusions. True exhaustion comes not from the chase, but from subtle invisibility, from silent annulment that robs you of peace and leaves you giving everything, receiving almost nothing. In the next few seconds, I will reveal to you why everything you learned about respect in your golden years is destroying you from within. I will expose the raw truth no one dares to admit. The most insidious forms of disrespect rarely announce themselves with blatant malice. They are far more subtle, cloaked in feigned concern or dismissive jest, silently eroding your very essence from within, and precisely what blinds you to your true value. The invisible touch begins with recognizing the cracks in your foundation, those subtle shifts that erode your standing without a single overt confrontation. Consider the first, the interrupted story. You are mid-sentence, perhaps sharing a hard-won insight or a cherished memory, when your narrative is casually truncated. A new topic abruptly surfaces, or another's voice overrides yours, dismissing your experience as if it were a prelude, not the main event. This isn't just rude, it's a subtle declaration of your narrative irrelevance. This constant interruption is more than a conversational faux pas. It is a structural weakness, a hairline fracture in the load-bearing wall of your self-respect. Each time your voice is muted, your story dismissed, a piece of your authority is chipped away. Your words, once imbued with the weight of experience, become mere background noise. A man who allows his narrative to be perpetually sidelined finds his entire edifice of dignity slowly crumbling, unreinforced by the respect it demands. Then comes the benevolent dismissal. You offer an opinion, a perspective born of decades, and it is met not with challenge, but with a condescending smile, a gentle pat on the arm, and the soft-spoken words, "Oh, that's sweet, but things are different now." Your wisdom is reclassified as quaint, your experience as outdated. It is a dismissal wrapped in feigned affection, a psychological disarming that leaves you feeling like a relic, not a sage. This paternalistic invalidation acts as a corrosive agent on the very steel beams of your intellect. Your judgment, once a source of quiet power, is deemed irrelevant, an artifact of a bygone era. The senior man who consistently endures this subtle belittling finds his mental fortress weakened, its strategic value undermined. He begins to question the very currency of his own accumulated knowledge, rendering him vulnerable to further incursions. These are not mere slights. They are seismic tremors shaking the bedrock of your personal autonomy. They are the initial, almost imperceptible stress fractures that, if left unaddressed, will compromise the entire structure of your being. To rebuild, you must first recognize these insidious beginnings. What other subtle attacks, even harder to detect, are silently eroding your peace? Now the silent escalation begins, subtly shifting from foundational cracks to the systematic draining of your emotional reserves. The next sign is the delegated decision. You are consulted only on trivial matters, while significant choices regarding shared life, finances, or future plans are made and presented as fates accomplis. Your role becomes that of a peripheral figure, invited to rubber stamp rather than genuinely contribute. This isn't oversight. It's a direct withdrawal from your power account. Then comes the public correction. In front of others, your statements are meticulously corrected, your memory gently disputed, or your contributions rephrased to fit a different narrative. It's not an argument, it's a quiet re-education, positioning you as slightly misinformed, less precise, or simply in need of guidance. Each public adjustment, though framed as helpful, diminishes your intellectual capital, a silent penalty on your authority. Even more insidious is the comparative compliment. You are praised, not for your inherent qualities, but for what you are not. You're so much better than X, who never listens. Or, at least you're not like Y, always complaining. This isn't genuine admiration. It's a backhanded validation that subtly binds your self-worth to the perceived deficiencies of other men, devaluing your uniqueness and making your emotional currency contingent. Each of these acts, the trivial delegation, the public reframing, the comparative praise, are deliberate debits to your emotional bank account. They silently erode your principle, leaving you in a power deficit, a state where your influence and self-esteem are consistently diminished. Your once robust sense of agency dwindles, replaced by a pervasive, unspoken obligation. This debt accumulates, silently but surely. The senior man, accustomed to leading and providing, finds his assets liquidated without consent. His emotional balance sheets reveal a stark reality. His investments in dignity yield little return, while the liabilities of quiet condescension mount. He is left questioning not only his value, but the very stability of his emotional portfolio. What then is your current emotional balance, gentlemen? What remains in your account? But understanding these subtle signals, recognizing the individual skirmishes, is merely the reconnaissance phase of this protracted conflict. We've charted the cracks in your foundation, the debits to your emotional bank. Now elevate your strategy. We move beyond identifying the enemy's movements to understanding their core psychology, transforming this awareness into an unbreakable armor. This shifts the tide of an unfolding war for self-respect. What you seek is not merely to win battles, but to secure lasting peace. The deeper psychological truth reveals a critical vulnerability, the ingrained fear of loneliness or irrelevance. This ancient programming, a silent saboteur within your ranks, often compels you to overextend, to prioritize external validation. You inadvertently signal an availability that suggests a lack of self-containment. This creates a psychological vacuum others will attempt to fill by subtly redefining your worth. It's an unconscious invitation to their terms, leaving your emotional defenses exposed. This is not a war of skirmishes, fighting every small battle for validation. To engage each subtle slight will exhaust your forces, leaving your command center vulnerable. The objective is to win the entire campaign for your self-respect. This demands a fundamental shift in strategy, from reacting to individual attacks to building an impenetrable fortress of personal sovereignty. This is the turning point, gentlemen. The strategic shift is profound. It moves from external reaction to internal re-engineering. You must unlearn the ingrained patterns that sought outside validation, replacing them with unwavering inner confidence. Emotional mastery becomes your ultimate shield, allowing you to observe manipulative tactics with elegant detachment, never engaging in their drama. This cultivates an aura of quiet, unshakable authority, a dignified presence that commands respect without demanding it. Become an immovable object. Embracing this strategic overhaul transforms the battlefield entirely. The subtle aggressions, attempts to diminish your narrative, lose all potency, finding no breach in your fortified spirit. Your value no longer fluctuates with external whims. It emanates from an unwavering core. This is the invisible touch, a magnetic field of self-respect, attracting genuine admiration, repelling all condescension. It reestablishes your dominion. How then do you construct this unshakable internal fortress, brick by brick? You asked how to construct that unshakable internal fortress, brick by brick. The answer, often whispered among us women, yet rarely articulated directly to you, lies not in what you actively pursue, but in the vacuum you permit. It is the silent space you allow to exist, the absence of desperate clinging, that paradoxically magnetizes authentic respect. This is a truth we instinctively understand, a secret we guard, because it unveils the most potent form of masculine power. Consider this not as a tactic, but a law of social physics. We women cannot, on an instinctive level, disrespect a man who is genuinely at peace with the possibility of losing us. He exudes a gravitational presence, an inner density that cannot be swayed by our emotional currents or subtle tests. His self-sufficiency creates an undeniable boundary, a perimeter of autonomy that commands reverence without a single aggressive word. This is the foundation of his unshakable fortress. The man who projects true weight does not chase. He stands, solid and immovable, a celestial body with its own orbit. Others, recognizing this profound self-containment, are naturally drawn into his sphere of influence. His value is self-evident, an intrinsic force. He neither needs nor demands. He simply is. This quiet power resonates deeply, speaking to an ancient feminine longing for unwavering strength and steadfast presence, not performative theatrics or constant reassurance. Contrast this with the light man, easily buffeted by every emotional breeze, his trajectory constantly adjusted by external forces. He lacks a central gravitational pull, his mass too diffuse. Such a man, though perhaps kind or generous, is unconsciously perceived as pliable, his respect a commodity to be earned through constant appeasement. He is easily moved, easily dismissed, because he presents no unyielding core, no immutable point of reference. This isn't about aggression or overt displays of dominance. It's a profound understanding of self-worth that renders external validation unnecessary. When you possess an authentic internal weight, your decisions carry consequence, your opinions hold sway, and your presence fills a room. You become the anchor, the fixed point, precisely because you are not desperately seeking to be held. This calm detachment becomes your most compelling attribute. The senior man who embodies this gravitational presence doesn't need to assert his boundaries. They are simply felt, an intrinsic part of his aura. He operates from a position of abundant self-regard, knowing his value is non-negotiable. This isn't arrogance. It is the quiet confidence of a man who has built his own kingdom, one where his emotional economy thrives independently. This self-sovereignty is what truly earns unyielding respect. You see, for us, it's not the grand gestures, but the consistent, subtle display of self-possession that truly impresses. When you are unmoved by our emotional fluctuations, when your peace is undisturbed by our potential withdrawal, you trigger an ancient reverence. It signals a depth of character, a mastery of self that most men, even in their golden years, have yet to cultivate. It makes you a force, not merely a participant. This is the psychological secret. Our respect is a tribute paid to an authentic power, not a reward for compliant behavior. A man with unshakable boundaries and a calm detachment communicates, without speaking, that his inner world is a sanctuary, not an open market. He implicitly states that his emotional well-being is his own responsibility, not a burden to be shifted or a void to be filled by another. This profound self-sufficiency makes you inherently intriguing, a man who knows his own counsel. It creates a fertile ground for genuine connection, for respect that isn't transactional, but organic. It is the inverse of neediness. You cease to be a supplicant and become instead a magnet. Your presence becomes a gift, not an obligation, because you are complete within yourself, radiating quiet strength. The gravitational pull of such a man is undeniable. He attracts profound admiration not through pursuit, but through his very being. His life, his purpose, his internal compass are his own. He is a man who moves with deliberate intention, valuing his own time and emotional energy above all else. This inner weight, this unyielding core, is the true invisible touch, the essence of an absolute, earned respect. This, then, is the profound resolution. The respect we women offer is merely a mirror, reflecting the self-value you cultivate within. Our admiration is not granted, it is recognized. It flows not from your efforts to please, but from your unwavering decision to anchor yourself in your own worth. True reverence is an echo of your internal state, a consequence of your unshakable self-regard, not a prize to be won. Understand this: a man must become his own lighthouse, a fixed point of unwavering light amidst the tumultuous seas of life's emotional currents. We women, by our very nature, will test the structural integrity of this beacon. We are drawn to its steadfastness, its unyielding presence. We unconsciously seek to ensure that your foundations are solid, that your light will not falter under pressure. Our storms and emotional tests are not designed to break you, but to confirm your resilience. They are a primal assessment, verifying that you are an immovable rock, not a shifting sand dune. We need to feel the security that your structure can withstand, that you will not bend or dissolve easily. This assurance provides the profound safety we instinctively crave, a masculine strength that endures. This calm detachment, this internal fortress of autonomy, is the ultimate magnet. It communicates without a single spoken word that your peace is inviolable, your purpose clear. It transforms you from a seeker of validation into a source of stability. When you stand secure in your own dominion, you invite a different kind of interaction, one built on authentic honor and deep, abiding respect. Observe your world anew, gentlemen. Are you living by your terms or those dictated by others? The choice is yours. Embrace this truth. Like this video, subscribe for further insights, and share your reflections below. A man's self-mastery is his greatest magnet.